Dave, did you ever get trolled by a 5-year-old?
Trolled by a no, I can safely say that I have not gotten trolled by a 5-year-old.
It was the best. And like all great 5-year-old stories, completely innocent. I've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old nephew, 2 nephews, 5 and 3. And they're at that age that they love trains. Remember, I don't know whether your kids had a Thomas the Tank Engine face. Mine certainly did. These guys love trains. Well, it just so happens in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, it's a big train area, and they do Day Out with Thomas, where they have a life-size Thomas the Tank Engine.
No, someone made the face on the front?
Yeah, the whole thing. It looks like they took that, and it is life-size, every detail. It's amazing.
Did they paint the whole
thing?
Not the caboose. What do you call the front? The engine? Did they paint the whole engine?
Just the engine. Like, they don't have the troublesome trucks.
Holy
or
hell,
anything
that's
like
expensive.
That.
You know what I mean?
And I think this outfit did it, and then they travel it from place to place to place.
Oh, they travel it. That's very pure. Brad, imagine you're just driving down a road and there's a train track next to you and you see this GD thing and you're like, Thomas is on the train track.
We saw it. They haul it by truck, but we were driving someplace and we're driving down the road. There's this semi truck and it's hauling Thomas.
Holy hell, though, Brad. Hold on, we can't go further than this. What is the main job of a train engine?
To go from place to place. But we've decimated, for the most part, that kind of train travel other than freight trains. So just to take this one little train on, and go from Toledo to Pennsylvania, it would be impossible, I bet.
The fact that they have to put it on a GD truck bed and then drive it
and then haul it.
To our European friends, this is why we don't take trains anywhere. Because General Motors broke it in the mid-century intentionally. Anyway.
There's so much true to that subtext in Who Framed Roger Rabbit that there really is that like they just broke the whole train system because they wanted to sell cars.
I'm going to send you a map of the Los Angeles trolley system that existed in the Depression era. Yeah. And General Motors 100% broke it intentionally. Yeah. They 100% broke it so that they could sell buses. Anyway, so angry about it still. I'm 100 years later and I'm still angry about it. And we're only now getting a good metro system in Los Angeles. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so your nephew trolled you though. How?
Yeah, well, so we took him to this in Strasburg and we had a great time with the whole family. And about a week later, I get a call from his mother, right? And she goes, "Do you have time to FaceTime with your nephew?" And I go, yeah, what's going on? She goes, I don't know. He just said, I need to talk to Uncle Brad. Says, put him on. I've always got time for my young nephew. If he wants to talk to his Uncle Brad, not a problem. I'm here for you. So she says, okay. So I FaceTime in. And he gets on the phone. He says, Uncle Brad. I said, what? He goes, where's Aunt Carolyn? I was here in the studio. I said, I don't know. I'm in the studio. She's at home someplace. She's at work. I don't know where she is. And he goes, oh, and he walked away. Just walked away. Just absolute. Now, thank God the 3-year-old was there, because the 3-year-old who was looking like maybe he's getting over a cold. You know how they've got the mucus all over their face?
Yeah.
He had to give the phone a kiss, and then he pulls the phone back, and there's this thick string of mucus between the phone and his nose. And we had a conversation like that for the next several minutes. Anyway, they finally get off the phone with me. That was it. I had a conversation with a 3-year-old. It was great. I get home from dinner I get home to dinner that night, and I say to Carolyn, did you get a call from our nephew? She goes, yeah. She starts laughing. She says, yeah. What did he want? She goes, oh, he had a question about trains. He wanted to know, he got a train for his birthday, wanted to know what the model was. And she said, I had him show it to me, and then I did a quick Google image search in reverse, found out the type of train that it was based on, gave him his answer. I said, how come he thought I couldn't do that? She says, I don't know, but I was the one that he had to go to for this information. I got completely trolled by a 5-year-old. And as soon as he found out, my importance in this whole thing was to hand the phone to my wife. And when I couldn't do that, he walked away.
Listen, he knows where the leadership runs in that family.
He knows who's got the train knowledge.
He just assumed that Uncle Brad would answer the phone and then pass it along. That's he. Oh my God! To be fair though, I've been staring across the microphone with you for 5 to 6 years now. I would call her for trade advice. I would not call Brad Geiger for trade advice.
Yeah, I think there's a train museum across the street, and we went to that, and I think she spent some time going from train to train and reading off the placards.
Yes.
And he thought that she was just like saying this off the top of her head. And so he thinks that she's a genius about trains, and she's the go-to for any of that information.
Well, Brad, I'm excited that you got to meet Thomas, but I am sorry, Brad, that you got trolled and that you were not the source of train information.
Yeah.
I will say good news to the world, though. Brad Geiger is the source of comics information, so I'm going to say hello, everybody, and welcome to ComicLab, the show about making comics.
And making a living from comics. Sometimes, Dave, you're the engine, sometimes you're the caboose. I'm Brad Geiger, the author of the Webcomics Handbook and the creator of Evil Inc.
And I'm his pal, Dave Kellett, cartoonist of Drive and Sheldon and co-director of the documentary Stripped.
And this week's Hour of Comics Advice is made possible by your support at patreon.com/ComicLab. So Dave, let's talk comics.
Let's talk comics, my friend. And Brad, you probably remember this as a parent yourself. Early on in your child's development, you have a choice.
Yeah.
You can either slowly spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on Lego, or you can slowly spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on those wooden Thomas sets.
Yeah.
And boy, depending on which route you go, you are going to be dropping a lot of cash over the years.
Oh my God.
$15 here, $40 there. Christmas, you're dropping $60 on this set.
Yeah.
Lego or Thomas gets you one way or the other as a parent. You go one way or the other, and you got to spend the money.
And at least when they were wooden, like they don't make the wooden Thomas toys anymore.
Oh, they don't make the wooden ones?
No,
look at Grandpa over here
now.
reminiscing about, okay.
But we had all the wooden ones. I had a whole huge Tupperware crate full of them. We hauled over to Ohio one time and bequeathed them all of that to put up a train table. We had all the wooden tracks and stuff. But yeah, they don't even make them out of wood anymore, but they price them perfectly because it's just under $20 as I remember it.
But it's for one little bip, right? But to get a set, you have to drop a bunch of $20.
And it's brilliant because it's all the same pattern. It's just different paint. It's for most 90% of those trains, it's the exact same body, just a different paint job. And it's all under $20. So you're walking through the grocery store. The kid says he wants it. You can't say no to something that's like right in that perfect price point. And before you know it, you got 120 of them at home.
I know I sound like a grumpy old dad, but it's such a racket. It
really is.
I do feel contrasting wise, and I can say this because I'm just about to pass on our family Legos to a family that's ready for it. And longtime listeners of the show will remember that Brad Geiger passed on his family Legos onto the Dave Kellett family, and we played with them for, I don't know, how many years is that, Brad? 5 years, 6 years?
Easily, maybe close to 10.
I still remember, by the way, we got your box of Legos that you mailed out. God bless you. You mailed out this giant-ass box of Legos that weighed 700 pounds, and I opened it up, and there were so many Avengers inside, Brad.
Yes.
I as a dad, was like, oh, my gosh, look at all these Thanos that I have. This is delightful. And so I was so excited, fellow nerd to fellow nerd, about how many Avengers you gave us. Anyway, but I will just say to other parents that are starting that journey, Legos are a great investment over the years. They will last you through many different ages, many different phases. And then you can pass them on, and other parents will be so happy to get them because they clean up great. Anyway, this has been Dave Kellett, consumer. That's enough of that. Bradley, what is the first topic we want to jump into today, my friend?
Oh, my God. Well, I'm going to pitch the first topic because it's been something that has been like kind of consuming me. And there's so many different parts to the story that I thought it would be really neat to talk about it. Basically, it starts here. I'm back on Reddit after quite a long time, and I'm having a kind of a renaissance on Reddit in a number of different ways. It's really been amazing. So I'll start the story here. Okay. I have rage quit Reddit more times than I care to admit to. Like easily 4 or 5 times I've just rage quit. Like, and I mean rage quit. It's like, fuck this. This doesn't bring anything into my life. I hate it. I'm not doing it anymore.
So you're saying as a creator, not as a user, you have
as a creator. No, as a user, I still continue to read through Reddit as a person, but as a creator, I would get into this jag where all of a sudden it's like, I don't need this. This is not bringing joy to my life. I'm getting the hell out. And like literally rage quit it. And for a lot of those times, my feeling was very much that long form comics in my own one person experience just was having a hard time getting traction, especially on the main subreddits like comics and web comics. It was a hard time getting people to understand even the concept of a long form, because what they were used to was single panel meme quick style. Or at least if it was a comic strip, it was standalone. You didn't have to know anything going in. And then add on to that the fact that Reddit is just brutal. Just absolutely you will not get torn apart in my experience any place else as badly as Reddit. And part of it is those fucking downvotes. Part of it, there's just a culture of really nastiness. Like people will put the nastiest comments I ever gotten on social media came from Reddit. And so after a little while, I'm like, listen, this is not adding enough into my life that it's worth all of this. And I rage quit it. So every year, right around this time of year, I have enough Halloween single panel cartoons that I do a Halloween countdown. I've got at this point, I could do like the Hallmark Channel and do a countdown to the countdown at this point. But I've got more than enough Halloween stuff that I can do a countdown, and I've now got it down to a science. So it's actually a different order every time, a lot of the same stuff. But then I add new stuff and replace stuff that I didn't think was strong. But I've got it such down to a science that I can prep all of these in about 20 minutes and have 31 of these Halloween countdown cartoons ready to go. And since they're single panel, every October, I find myself back on Reddit. And just because they do a pretty good job there. In fact, if you listen back several episodes, I actually hit the Reddit front page. The one time I hit the Reddit front page and went as close to quote unquote viral as I've ever gone was with one of those Halloween countdown cartoons. So every October, I'm back on Reddit, and by November, I've rage quitted again because it infuriates me, right? So this year, I was invited to join a private Discord server of a handful of not safe for work comics artists, with the idea of...
by the way, the way you said that made it sound like you just got invited to get the black card from Amex. You're like, I was invited to an exclusive forum of not suitable for work. I was like, why is he giving this so much weight? They basically emailed him and said, hey, come join us.
But I never get invited to parties. It was like I was like, oh my gosh, they want me. Well, I'll march right in there, you know.
Look at Brad. Brad's so chuffed by it. I
really was chuffed. Was the perfect word. An
exclusive Discord server of just the finest NSFW.
They don't let just anybody in. You got to know people. So they invite, and it really is fun. It's just specifically this topic because there's a lot of writer's room stuff going on. Here's a punchline that isn't quite landing. Give me some thoughts. I'm having trouble drawing this angle. What do you think? So, and it's all very specific to our niche. I love it. These guys are doing Reddit way better, way more effectively than I've ever done Reddit. Okay. And they are some of the guys, I should say some of the folks. They're doing some of those comics that have become somewhat popular over the past couple of years on Reddit, where they'll do a comic strip and they'll do 3 panels, get the punchline in the 3rd panel, And then they'll say the fourth panel is not safe for work. If you want to see that, join us on Patreon. And they've been having a lot of success with this.
Really?
It's a real, when I first saw it, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. And but the results they're getting are undeniable. Really good results. They're doing Reddit way better than I've ever dreamt of doing Reddit. So and also I saw storylines happening, and I started tuning into the R Comics subreddit a little bit more than I had. Okay. And I started seeing a lot more storyline driven stuff there and how people were doing that and so forth. So I'm like, okay, all right. Happens every October. In for penny, in for pound.
Here we go.
I'll start.
I'm going back.
Here we go. Coming back. Just like Charlie Brown with the football. Yeah. I'm going to start. And I took my most recent wrapped up Evil Inc. storyline, and I figure I'll post them 5 days a week on weekdays and just see how they do. And then if it keeps going, then maybe I'll do the previous, or I'll start doing live stuff twice a week instead of every day. Who knows what I'm going to do? I haven't thought that far. I didn't think I was going to make it this far. I figured I was going to rage quit a long time ago. But I'm doing all of that. And again, watching what these guys are doing on Reddit, Dave, all of a sudden, I'm getting comments from the readers and the usual nasty vitriol. But I'm getting comments from readers like the following. You ready for this? Evil Inc. I grew up reading this comic. A liver spot just exploded on my wrist.
Yes, but I hate that, because it's like, how did we lose one another? Like, if you loved it, how did we? And listen, life happens. I know it happens. Yeah. A computer breaks, or you go from a school computer to a home computer, or a work computer to a home, and people lose the links or forget to check it. And I get it. But every time that happens to me, because I've been doing comics for 25 years now online, every time it happens, I'm like, darn it. How many of these people have I lost over the years, And
we lost a bunch when Google shut down the RSS reader.
The RSS, yes,
that.
We did. Yep.
People started to move away from web comics on websites. And I'm starting to get the feeling, well, that's a whole nother subtopic. But anyway, I'm getting comments like that. Like, oh my God, Brad Geiger, I used to read you, blah, blah, blah. Brad, Evil Inc. This was, here, you ready for this? Brad, Evil Inc. I grew up reading Evil Inc.
Oh yeah. That's when the hair goes extra white on your head. That's what.
But anyway, all of a sudden I realize I'm reconnecting with people, and so I'm like, maybe I'll keep doing this. I don't know. It feels pretty good. At the same time, I'm noticing a definite uptick in Patreon backers.
Oh, okay. Using that technique that these other people, where you
I don't
would
do
block
that.
out the fourth panel, or
I don't do that. But my comic is set up differently. So what I do, I stole a little page from their book, because they have a end panel that basically explains the whole deal and says, last panel's not safe for work. Here's where you go. So I made a last panel of my own. That's just a little promo ad that says, thanks for reading Evil Inc. If you want to read from the beginning, here's where you go. Join us on Patreon. It's got 2 or 3 little things. And of course, in the post itself, you can put, and this is a strength of Reddit, you can put hyperlinks in your post.
Yep. And they still allow it.
And they yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's doubtful how many people see it.
No, but I say that because, like, one of the things among 10,000 other things that drove me off of Twitter was that anytime you linked out, it started to get throttled down.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that drove me nuts, because that's the implicit promise of social media.
Right.
I will help give you content. I will help give you an audience. You will help me link out to my stuff. That's the promise. And Twitter started to break that, among other 10,000 social contracts that it broke. Yeah.
And including Instagram, which never even offered the promise. It was always, this is all for us, none for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all of a sudden, I'm seeing a definite marked increase in Patreon backers. But at the same time, I've been doing a couple of different things over the past couple of months, like trying a little bit of this, trying a little bit of that. I don't know exactly what, and that's another subtopic. And so I'm gonna tease this because I'm not gonna talk about it yet.
So, gang, for those counting at home, we're now at 5 subtopics that we've got to circle back around on.
There's so much to talk about here. There really is.
Can you guys tell that Brad's excited about this? All right, table this thought. We're gonna come back to this. We're now on subtopic 6. Okay.
So when you remember when we were talking, Dave and I were giving some feedback to a Patreon person about quips. Which we passed, by the way, gang, we passed along your thoughts from the Discord server as well. But we were talking about quips. And I said, by the way, to this person, I said, not for nothing. I just finished up a Kickstarter. And you know what Patreon needs? Referral tags.
Yeah.
Patreon needs referral tags because I can see where I'm getting my pledges from on Kickstarter. I can't see it on Patreon. You've improved your analytics, but still a huge amount of these clicks are coming from unknown or direct or whatever,
Right.
I got to know what's working, and I need referral tags. That sent me down a rat, and of course they said we'll take it into advisement. Thanks for passing that along. And even I was thinking about it after I hung up, Dave. Even if she hung up the phone and went running to the top executive and said, Brad Geiger says we need referral tags, and he says, Brad Geiger says we need referral tags. And he picked up the phone, Smith, referral tags. It's a code G. We need referral tags. Number one, they're never going to do that. Even if there was a code G at Patreon, it would take them 12 months to get it in the works, right? So
a code G. I don't know why that I know.
Code G.
I know what it stood for. I'm slowly shaking my head with love that we're now.
G. Patreon has they should have a code G. When I say they should have a code G.
Oh my gosh, I love that you're tripling down on the code G. It's very endearing, the code G.
But even if they had a code G, it would take them 12 months. So I decided I was going to do it myself. And I think I did. It took me, it was my obsession this weekend.
Oh.
It took me through 3 different ways of handling this. And I have started this week with what I hope. Now, I might come back next week because I don't want to talk about it yet because I don't have enough information to share. But I think I've got at least the start of a plan to handle referral tags in Patreon and other sites so you can see what's actually working.
Well, if that's true, good for you, and I will start instituting it myself. To give folks some context, because Brad a little bit glossed over it, we had a really lovely, I think about an hour conversation with the folks at Patreon this week or last week, and very constructive, and Brad was able to give, and I was able to give a lot of feedback to what's working, what's not working, and what we'd love to see. And so my reaction to Brad figuring out on his own how to make referral tags work is that wouldn't it be funny if they did call a code G and they institute it next week and you're like, God damn it, I did all this work trying to figure it out on myself and they did a code G. They did a code G.
Wouldn't it be my luck? The one time there's a code G, I wasted on referral tags.
Let me ask you, on a Friday night after a glass of wine, is there a code G in the bedroom? Like you're padding the bed? Oh, it's time for a code G. Oh,
yeah. Carolyn, it's a code G. Get in here quick. Yeah.
And the code G to her is like, yeah, go away. That's the code G. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. But so you figured out, but not ready to talk about the referral tags yet?
Because I want to have some more data behind me. I want to see how this is working first.
That's fair. So
I don't want to go off there, but I will say this. Other than me personally, I'm giving Reddit another look, and I'm very, very optimistic about it. I can tell you, I'm probably going to be posting on Reddit for the long haul. And I got a little story behind that.
Tune in next week, gang, when he rage quits. But anyway, okay, so what are some actionable things that you can share with people that does work on Reddit? Like 4 or 5 bullet points of what works.
So if you are a not safe for work artist and you can make your work into this sort of format, there's lots of stuff there. But doing that 3-panel punchline in the 3rd panel and then a not safe for work 4th panel, That's working really, really well for people. In general, not safe for work is not nearly as castigated as it had been. It's not nearly as frowned upon. In fact, I think the comic subreddit now just has a NSFW tag, and you just post yourself, post it with that tag. And then if people don't want to see that sort of thing, they set their notifications and they don't see it. But you know, there's a greater acceptance towards that. So, but that's just in my niche. I will say I'm seeing a few things I want to share. Number one, obviously those hyperlinks in the original post, very useful. I'm seeing the old standby where you yourself are the first commenter and you start a conversation. You know, like those old social media standbys, ask a question. One person, and I don't want to blow anyone's anonymity, so I'm just going to say one person because I don't have the permission to speak on behalf of this person. But one person said, if you let a Redditor give you an overly informed answer, give them the opportunity to show how smart they are. They will roll around in that like it's catnip, which I thought was a great way. It was a wonderful way to put it. And then he also said,
let the pedants be pedants and they will go pedantic on you. Yes, absolutely.
And I'll see if I can get this person's approval to use their name. But listen to this, Dave, and tell me if this doesn't blow your brains right out of your ears. This is a direct quote from this person. Personally, I don't really trust what commenters say that they want, because by virtue of them being a commenter means they're already a statistical outlier.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
And I read those
on all
words.
Sorts of forums. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Just by the fact that they're commenting, they're a statistical outlier. And if you look at the number of views your comics has and the number of comments, you know that that's absolutely true. It's another way of saying never listen to your reader, always listen to your readers. But that statistical outlier put it in a different kind of framework for me. That I'm never going to lose it. So don't pay attention to the commenters. And of course, there's nasty commenters.
There's a lot of unhappy people on Reddit, especially. I mean, and listen, I say this as a person that likes Reddit. I love my electric car forum subreddits, Brad. I'm a nerd for it. But boy, there's some angry people that just love to vent their spleen on Reddit.
And of course, the beauty, and every now and again, you'll see this being pointed out where somebody says, you know, like if they come in and say, oh, this is comics is horrible because this, and this, somebody will say, you realize that by commenting, you're just giving that comic that you hate more engagement, and that means it's going to be spread even further. And like the more all you got to do if you see a comic that you don't like is just scroll to the next one. And pretty soon the algorithm kind of figures out you don't like this thing, right? But when you engage in it, Reddit gives you even more of it and gives more people it, right?
Right.
So, but again, don't engage with the commenters unless they're being friendly, in which case, you know, engage away. But that whole thing about starting a conversation in the first comment, making sure that you're using those hyperlinks. And here's another one. And again, I can't claim credit for any of this, but the going intelligence, the conventional wisdom is to post like at 7 a.m. Eastern time. The guy goes, you know what? I've been posting later in the day because my thought is they're more likely to see it and then go home and become a Patreon backer than they are if they see it in the morning, then they've got to work all day and then they get home and then maybe they think about it. So I've also been putting that into the back of my mind as well. Right.
Okay. Yeah, I will add a couple things on. Well, first of all, I want to ask you a question about this weird NSFW format, because you said the third panel is a punchline and then the fourth panel is NSFW adult content, right? Behind a paywall. Yeah. And I'm half joking, but I'm half being serious. How the hell does this work? Like the third panel is like, and the duck says to the bartender, not since I got off the bus on Tuesday. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. And then the fourth panel is just boning? Like, how does that work?
It's you know how a lot of people that we like, the one that we've talked about on the show very often is Adam Huber, who does a comic called Bug Martini. right? And we said that he would kind of build a punchline. And so a lot of his comics had 2 or 3 punchlines because it builds and builds and builds.
Right.
What they do very often is there's a punchline in panel 3, then there's a bumper or an additional punchline that builds on the punchline. But in there's panel boning? 4, except that one is more adult oriented, either in the image or in the content itself. So it's a bumper.
So going on back to that, so the third of the panel, the duck's like to the bartender, not since I got off the bus on Tuesday, and the fourth panel is just another punchline, but now the duck has no pants on?
Yeah, or it's a further punchline, or it builds on that punchline in the third panel.
I am so, okay, I have to see it. I need to see how this works, because I don't understand how, maybe I just don't understand how, like you got a punchline, and then you go to a fourth panel, but now they're like, and that's why I don't use fromage on my pancakes. And then, but there's boning involved. Like, how is there another?
I mean, honest to goodness, if I gave you a challenge to write something like that, where there's a punchline and then a fourth panel that builds on the punchline, you could do it.
I could do it, but I don't understand how.
You're getting very much focused on the NSFW part.
Yeah,
where really that's just kind of in an adult themed comic that it's a very natural progression. You're like the duck all of a sudden takes his clothes off. But if your comic has adult themes,
was already scantily clad people in the first 3 panels,
or
right?
Like there's a comic that takes place, let's say, in a strip club, right?
Oh, right.
So you can have the beginning of a lap dance in panel 3 where they say something funny, and then panel 4 continues the lap dance. If you were doing that sort of thing,
I just want to give you a peek into Dave Kellett's brain, because I so don't know how to do an NSFW comic. That this is how it's operating in my brain. It's like, and so the plumber's like, all right, so then I fixed the sink, and then the punchline in the third panel, it's like, and for an extra fee, ba-da-da. Like, I don't know how to do this.
I'm telling you, you could take the NSFW part out, you could do it. I'm telling you, you could do this.
I'm just laughing at how my brain is so flummoxed by this. I don't know how it operates.
At the same time that I'm saying that you could do it, I don't want to take away from what these guys are doing when they do it, because it is a kind of a special skill to write a punchline.
Oh, sure. The very fact that I'm flummoxed by this tells me it's a special skill. I don't know. I just don't know how it works. But I will say this. The other thing I was going to say is my pro tips for people doing Reddit with comics is that I will say, as much as Brad got through an excellent talking points about NSFW, short form really works on Reddit. Yeah. Short form being 1 panel especially really works. 4 panels or less really works. Humor-based that is standalone, that you can link out to in your comments and engage for the first hour, especially of comments, seems to help in terms of responding yay or nays. And that's my pro tips for making Reddit work. That being said, though, I have gotten multiple Sheldons to the front page of Reddit. Brad, it was a blip in terms of new readership. It's not what you think it's going to be in terms of like instant fame and pot of gold was Dave Kellett's after he got to the front page of Reddit. Right. No, you get like 5 new readers, 100 new readers, 1,000 new readers. But even if you get the 1,000 new readers from that day, they drift away because they're not real. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of the internet. They come and they graze for a second and then they move on. But it does help. I still want to do it, but I'm just saying to people, it's not the guaranteed growth that you think it's going to be.
In fact, I mean to build off of that, because sometimes we've said that in the past, and I'll see, I'll see people talking on the Discord and stuff, and sometimes I want to make sure that we explain our thoughts here well, and that is. What Dave is saying is don't pin all your hopes on a viral moment.
Yes.
What he's not saying that social media is not important and you don't have to worry about social media or anybody seeing your stuff on social media. Specifically, what he's saying is instead of pinning your hopes on that one viral moment, and this has been a theme for all social media that we've talked about. Your goal should be consistency, right? Frequent, consistent, significant. Yes. Your goal should be showing up and not being like Brad Geiger and rage quitting every November, but showing up time after time, because organic social media takes repetition and showing up all the time. And that's how you build an audience, not in one day of glory, but over several years of consistently showing up.
And we, first of all, I 100% agree with Brad. It usually takes 10 to 20 times of someone seeing you on Reddit or Blue Sky or Instagram or Twitter, and then they'll go to your site. You know what I mean? Like usually the one... Don't get me wrong. I love the viral moments where there's a Sheldon on the front page. It doesn't happen all the time. It's once every couple of years. But when it does, it is lovely. It's a great boost and you get a lot of traffic and, this and that, bang, boom, bang. But they don't stick around because there hasn't been a habit, an ingrained built-in thing of, I like this stuff. I want to seek out more of this stuff. Where that does come from, like Brad said, is consistently showing up at the top of the, say, R Comics subreddit. You know what I mean? Like being in the top 10 and you'll be like, I've seen this Brad Geiger a couple of times. I should go check them out. Yeah. I'll check out their newsletter. Because a lot of Reddit readers, a lot of Twitter readers, a lot of Blue Sky readers, they don't really want to leave the platform. That is the truth. Right. They want to read the stuff on the platform. It's only in appearing in front of them 20, 30 times that you'll get them off the platform to your Patreon, to your Kickstarter, to your book sales, to your website. And it's going to take a while. So it's that consistency that I think Brad is aiming for there. Yeah.
Yes. Although I will say this, and by the way, this is today is October 28th. So this is after 3 weeks of experience. So I can't speak with a condition of authority on Reddit by any means. I will say this, despite what you just said, which is true, and it's true of any platform. You're on the platform, you want to stay on the platform. I noted for myself a greater willingness to go to the website, because what happened was people went to my website and then had one problem or misunderstanding or another and came back and said, I can't read this because it's Patreon locked. Well, they must have hit the first button that takes them all the way back to February 14th, 2000. That told me I need to have buttons for individual chapters. I need to do a better job of navigation. Right. But I had 4 or 5 of these. Hey, how can I read this entire archive? Where is this?
That's great. Great.
That's what you want. And they know it isn't on Reddit, right? Where can I read this where I can read the archive? Or I love this comic. I can tell I'm gonna be, binging it on the site. Stuff like there's a little bit greater willingness to go off platform than there is on a site like Instagram, for example.
That's great. That's a perfect example of that. And so anyway, to wrap this point up, I'm excited that you're back on it. It actually makes me think maybe because I've had some good standalone comics lately, and I should probably put some of those up on Reddit just to see what I can do. Because you got to keep trying all these sources is the truth of it. You got to keep experimenting and you got to keep trying it. Hey, gang, if you're listening while you work, take a minute to stand and stretch.
And while you're doing that, we'll tell you why you should join us on Patreon.
Yeah, because when you do, you'll get hours and hours of podcasts that we've recorded just for backers.
And exclusive Patreon posts that go even deeper on ComicLab topics.
And you'll get access to our exclusive Discord server, a thriving community of professional cartoonists.
So you can support the show you love and get tons of actionable resources for your own cartooning.
And ho Nelly, if you want even more comics goodness in your life, check out the new drawing show that we're doing with our pal Kevin McShane over at wrongwayshow.com. That's wrongwayshow.com.
In each episode, we'll show you how to draw your favorite cartoon characters the wrong way.
Now, everybody, let's talk comics. All right, Brad. Well, speaking of fun interaction with readers, I want to do a fun thing for our international listeners of Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
So folks will remember from our 400th episode of the show that we had all sorts of folks leaving voicemails about what they loved or didn't love. No, it was all loved what they loved about the show. And there was some fantastic accents. And Brad and I got talking after the show about how specific accents make us feel certain things, the joy or excitement or, pep in the step.
Yeah.
And that there's very specific reactions to very specific accents. And so I wanted to put this out there for our international listeners. And you can email me at dave@davekellett.com and send us your name, where you're from, some sort of identifier. You don't have to give us your name, but some sort of identifier, what country you're from, and what you feel when you hear Brad or my accent. Like, what does this accent make you feel? It could be totally subjective, as many adjectives as you'd like, as many descriptors as you like. And it doesn't have to be necessarily, you don't have to feel like you have to make it valid. It's literally whatever you feel. We're sort of curious what our Midwestern / Philadelphia and Los Angeles / San Diego accents make you feel from an international perspective. What do we sound like? Do we sound like morons? Do we sound like
I think you got it. I think stop digging. You hit gold. I think that's probably it.
So once again, just give us some sort of identifier. It could be a screen name, could be a real name. It can be what country you're from, what maybe your first language, if that's applicable. That could be a fun way to do it. But let us know how you feel or how you think of our accents when you hear Brad's Midwestern / Philadelphia accent and Dave's Southern California accent. What does that accent make you feel?
Dave, I'm going to throw a curveball in here. Remember that phone number we set up so that people could call in and record a message during the 400th show extravaganza?
Yes. That's a better idea, Brad. Yes.
So here's what you do. Call us at this following phone number. I'll put it in the show notes as well. 609-379-3520.
I was going to say, if it requires a country code, it's probably 1 or 01.
Yeah. So the number again, 609-379-3520. I will put that in the show notes. And then you can basically record your message and you can do your, if you want to, an imitation of what we sound like to you.
Please do an imitation of what Brad and Dave sound. That would be great. But we would love to just hear what mood it makes you feel. What kind, how you imagine us to be with our accents. Because, like you hear certain Russian or German or Jamaican accents, and they make you feel a very specific way. And I would love to know what our weird American accents make you feel from an international perspective.
And God knows we can dish it out. We've got to be able to take it. We've done enough horrible German accents and English accents. Dave, as you know, hates the Welsh. We've done accents.
Stop it! God, no! Don't, Bradley Geiger, don't do it.
But yes, call us in at that number. You'll see it in the show notes. And I think we could have a lot of fun with that. Oh, and by the way, when you do, give your comic a little shout. Just say, I'm so-and-so, and this is the comic I do. Yeah, give yourself a little shout.
Give yourself a little shout out. 609-379-3520. All right, Brad, I'm going to jump us into our next question that comes in over at patreon.com/ComicLab. And it says, hey, Comics Uncles, I got a hopefully easy question for you. What are some simple things that I could do, that I could work on while I'm at work? I work full time, but honestly, don't do a lot. Sorry, that made me laugh. Work ebbs and flows, and as of late, there's been little to nothing to really do. I have written bits and have been figuring out the arcs of stories, as I'm aware that's what I can get away with at work. I can get away with an occasional sketch, but will not do full-on pieces. But if I get an idea for something, I thumbnail it and let it sit for later.
Smart.
Do you have any suggestions on something simple or short I can work on for those who have full time to take advantage of those lulls? I love the podcast and appreciate all that y'all do. Brad Geiger, first of all, y'all gives it away. Not from Massachusetts, that listener. All right. So, Brad, this is a great question. What do you do when you got extra time at work? And I had this happen in some of my 40-hour-a-week day jobs where you would just have seasonal downtime. Brad, what would you advise? You also had some downtime wink at the newspaper wink from time to time. Wink.
I think the smartest thing is the one that you've already identified. The safest, smartest bet and the most effective use of your time is writing. That's something that they can't track. It's harder to spot. If you're writing on a piece of paper or on I don't know. Well, we'll talk about computers in a moment, but
I very much want to talk about computers. Yes, we'll get to that.
But if you're writing on a piece of paper, you look like you're writing. You look like you're industrious and busy, and much less likely to attract suspicion. So I think writing is the odds-on favorite for that kind of under the radar, getting work done at work kind of thing. Don't you, Dave?
100% agree. 100% agree. If you pivot around in your cubicle and you cross your leg and you put your notepad on your leg and you've got a pencil in your hand and you're writing into a notepad, there is not a single coworker or boss in the world that will come by and be like, hey, you back to work. Because it looks like you're just writing a note to yourself or you're writing out your to-do list or like face the door of your cubicle so you see if somebody walks up.
Yes.
Act completely natural if someone walks in. Don't like try to hide your notebook because what adult goes, what are you writing? You know what I mean?
Right.
No one can tell from upside down and in your own handwriting what you're writing, unless you've got really crisp handwriting. Use your court stenographer version of your handwriting, if you know what I mean by that. Yeah. Like, make it the version of your handwriting that no one else can read except for you. Maybe that's just me. I have like 5 different versions of my handwriting that I can do. And there is one that I can do very quickly that no one can read a GD thing except for me, Brad, right?
Yeah.
Use that version of your handwriting, face the door of your cubicle with your leg crossed, have a nice coffee next to you. You got a free writing session right there, my friend.
Yes.
That is gold. I will say this because I really, really, really want to draw a point on this. Do not use your computer system at work. No. Don't log into anything. Don't even use it and email it yourself. Don't text yourself from your computer. If you must write on some kind of a digital device, use your own phone and text yourself or something. Don't use the Wi-Fi network. Use your own phone network.
Yes.
Turn off Wi-Fi while you're at work. Because if any of those things are triggered, a work computer, a cloud system, a Wi-Fi system that was provided by work, that technically can become the property of your employer. And if they are at all in a creative field, they can claim IP ownership of your work, like I had when I worked in a creative field, or Brad had when he worked in a creative field. You can't save a single file. You can't use a cloud network. You can't use the Wi-Fi provided by your employer. It has to be on a piece of paper with a pencil. And just accept that you are taking a risk of being fired or being disciplined.
Right.
That is possible, but let's be honest. Who's going to discipline you if you are facing the door of your cubicle with a pen in your hand and a pencil and you're writing in a notebook? They're going to think you're making a to-do list.
Yep. And I'm just going to underline, because I had the same thought. Don't use anything that's on the company ISP. Don't use anything that's on Wi-Fi. Don't get on your computer and sign into whichever social media network that you're using. Or anything, quite frankly. And do what Dave just said. Turn the Wi-Fi off on your phone or on your iPad. Connect through your cellular service if you've got to do something, and do that. Or there's a number of ways that some of these apps, like if you're using a scheduler, there might be a way that you can work offline for a little while. And then when you go back home, connect to your Wi-Fi and then upload all that stuff that you did. There's a lot of ways you can solve this problem, but don't do it any place. Not only is Dave right about them being able to possibly go after your IP creatively, but it's more easy to catch you if you're doing it on the company Wi-Fi.
And not only, and they have absolutely traceable legal recourse if it's on the ISP or if it's on their networks or it's using their equipment in any way, shape, or form. That also extends to, you cannot use any of the physical tools or implications around physical tools or implements around the office to make anything. No paper, no X-Acto knives, no scissors. If you're using anything that the company provides, then it's the companies. And that
Yes.
you will lose that court case. I'm just telling you, I know from experience, or not me, but having been called in to testify at a court case that involved IP of a company employee, you will lose that court case.
Yeah.
So,
and these days, the way they're making photocoppers.
Listen, I said implications instead of implements, so I get it.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to call it a Xerox machine then. If you're going, I can't do photocoppers. But these days, like there's any photocopy you make, they're making a scan of that as well and tracking all of that. But I'll just say it again, as well as creative problems, it also makes you trackable. You can end up getting written up and all that kind of stuff. And of course, the last thing we're going to tell you to do is don't ever sit there and draw while you're at work. That is the highest red flag. It's easy to catch you. And you're also, I don't know about you, but that's when I tend to go deepest into my creative zone, is like when I'm inking and penciling.
And you're not paying attention. Yeah.
And it's very easy for somebody to walk up, tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, what you doing? And then you've got to answer that question. So the answer to your question is writing, and with a little subhead being, and anything else you can do off the grid.
Yeah. Can I tell you that I a lot feel for people that are working corporate jobs nowadays versus when we were last in corporate world 10, 15 years ago. And it's the tracking software that absolutely blows my mind as the sort of things that people have come to have to accept. Because I feel about tracking software the way I feel about dating apps now, where it's just like, I would have hated it in my corporate life, the tracking software that, like, you have to have your keyboard move every couple of times, and you have to, they're going to track how long you actually worked on a project. And that just seems, so listen, because I'm saying all that because I can see somebody out there being like, well, Dave and Brad, this is ethically gray, this working on stuff while at work. And it is. It is. But I'm answering it honestly in a way that answers the question asker, which is they're saying, he or she is saying, they've got downtime. They're a good employee. They're putting out good work for their company. They have seasonal times or weekly times where like nothing is coming across their desk. Yeah. So how can they best fill their time? And I'm answering them honestly, which is writing on a pad of paper is the best way to do it. Don't use anything that's on the network. Don't use anything that's on the cloud. Don't use anything that involves a computer or any implement that is provided by the company. Is it still a risk? Yes, it is. But at least this way is the safest of ways that Brad and I, cough, cough, in our past corporate work, cough, cough, have found to do work while at work. And so it's also, it's a gray area, yes, but I'm okay with it morally. Like, I know for a fact in my past corporate creative job, I personally brought in millions for that company. I know that I did. I know it was trackable. I know the projects that I worked on and created. And I never felt bad when it was a downtime or seasonally, nothing was coming across my desk, or that week nothing was coming across my desk. I never felt bad about it because I knew that I gave it my all. And, so it's a little bit gray. It's a gray area, like, you know, that old joke, Brad, where it's not a joke, where like, hey, Brad, if you see someone at a supermarket shoplifting baby diapers, no, you didn't. You know, no, you didn't. That's a little bit how I feel about, like, hey, if you're a good employee and you give it your all, but you need a little bit of you have downtime anyway, and you're hurting no one by working on your comic. I'm personally fine with it. That's one of those gray areas where it's like, I'm fine with it. But Brad, where do you land on the ethical nature of this?
I think that's number one, it's your own decision to make. I don't want to tell you ethics, but number two, I agree with Dave 100%. I think you're well within your rights to get a little bit of stuff done. Once you've fulfilled your obligation to the company, you're perfectly fine to sit there and get a little bit of stuff done between your ears. I don't have a real problem with it at all.
I will say this. Brad and I have said repeatedly on this show that one of the best drivers of pure creativity and getting work and getting the wheels going is boredom.
Yes.
It's one of the reasons why a shower works, why a dog walk works, why a long bike ride works where no music is playing. You get your brain good and bored, And boy, the writing starts to happen. And nothing will do that better than a 40-hour-a-week job, Brad, getting good and bored. And then the writing starts happening magically.
Oh, yeah. And listen, you're right. Nothing does that as well as a 40-hour-a-week job, unless maybe it's a 50-minute-a-week podcast where we've done our best to bore you for the last hour, but now we've got to say that you've been listening to Comic Lab, the show about making comics and making a living from comics.
Your hosts have been my friend Brad Geiger, the editor of webcomics.com, the creator of Evil Inc. at evilcomic.com, where you'll be seeing upcomingly, boy, that didn't really work. So pretty soon you'll be seeing a third panel joke followed by ba-da-ba. He's also the handsome co-host of the fantastic new drawing show that I cannot recommend enough. Go over to youtube.com and check out Wrong Way Show, or go to wrongwayshow.com.
I love that when I say strip club, your first reaction is, it's not it's wow, 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 which was what? A song from the 1960s? 1953?
I think it was 30s. I don't even know.
Oh,
it might be older. I have no frame of reference. Because to me, something is so comedic that song is about stripping.
Oh my God.
Yes. Anyway.
It is the most unsexiest song I've ever heard. It's replete with unsexiness.
But speaking of unsexy, you do want to head over to wrongwayshow.com to see Brad, Kevin, and Dave draw their life off and draw their life off.
Is it my turn yet?
It's your turn.
And my friend who can make the tassels go in different directions, Dave Kellett, co-director of the comics documentary Stripped, and the cartoonist of Sheldon at sheldoncomics.com and Drive at drivecomic.com, and another handsome co-host along with our good friend Kevin McShane of the drawing show at wrongwayshow.com.
And the ComicLab theme song is used with permission from Andy Creighton at theworldrecord.net. And this episode was edited by the ever-wonderful, ever-whimsical Matt Woodard of Woodsong Productions over at www.woodsong.media.
If you love ComicLab, you can rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, and you may hear your review featured on a future episode. And don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Spotify, where we are burning up the podcast charts.
And Comic Lab is made possible by your support at patreon.com/comiclab. So we'll go ahead and say that twice. Patreon.com/ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Dave, I'm going to challenge you to do 3 panels with a 4th panel bumper. It doesn't even have to be NSFW, although that would be a value add. I'd like to see I'd like to see you take on that challenge.
I mean, what with think about what I write about. Like it's going to be like
it does not have
Gandalf with a punchline in the 3rd panel, and then Galadriel shows up in the 4th panel. I've got is that a staff you're holding, Gandalf? Or you just happy to see me in the third age?
It doesn't have to be NSFW, but I think, and maybe we'll try this for Writer's Room, maybe not this time, but maybe coming up, trying to specifically do 3 panels with the 4th panel bumper.
You know what? I will take that challenge because it's basically an intentional hat on a hat.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a fun way to write.
Another way of thinking of it is a stinger. Right. And that is a valid thing. Right. We always tell people, once you hit your punchline, once you hit your punch word, you're out. Anything that comes after that has to be as funny or funnier. Right. You can't just have a word there, you're right. That's hack. That's horrible.
Right.
But if you can write something that has a punchline and then a stinger or a bigger punchline after that.
Right.
I think that would be a fun challenge for us to take on.
All right. This is my promise to you. I am going to write a Lord of the Rings 3 panel where Gimli delivers his punchline. Gimli the dwarf delivers his punchline in the third panel, and then fourth panel, it's a stinger. But Gimli also has his robes off and his armor off, and there's a female dwarf who also has a beard, and then the action starts to really happen.
Oh, that's because the beard can cover up all the problem spots.
That's right. And so Dave Kelly, the fact that Tolkien had the female dwarves with beards, it's always a delight. It never.
Well, maybe this was what he had in mind all along.
He had Dave Kelly in mind decades ago. He knew what I needed.